common part of life for practically every person in this country. Either you have a disability or someone you know or closely interact with does. According to the Centers for Disease Control, 26% of adults in the U.S. have some type of disability, and that number is even higher here in the South. While there have been many strides along the path towards equitable access to services for people with disabilities, and while there is still a ways to go, we wanted to take some time to recognize a landmark in the struggle for equal rights and protections. The Americans with Disabilities Act, usually called the ADA, is a piece of civil rights legislation focused on protecting the rights of people with disabilities in the United States. The law protects individuals from discrimination because of a disability in all parts of public life, including jobs, schools, transportation, and access to places that are open to the general public. Among the people who worked on getting the ADA passed, disability rights activist Patricia Wright is typically noted for her work in coordinating the campaign to enact the law. Many people called her the General for her coordinating activities. The ADA was originally recommended by the National Council of Disability in 1986. Sponsored by Senator Tom Harkin in the Senate, it would be signed into law by President George H.W. Bush in 1990, with amendments passed in 2008 by President George W. Bush. We at the library believe that it's important for everyone in the community to be reflected in the stories we tell and share. To celebrate the 31st birthday of the ADA, we are presenting 31 of our favorite items, plus one to grow on, from our collection that highlight the multifaceted stories of individuals with disabilities.
We'll start off by highlighting some picture books in our collection that feature people with disabilities and are written for a young audience. The first is Tukpa for All by Prabha Ram and Sheila Pruitt. In it, the main character, Tsering, can't wait to taste his grandmother's delicious noodle soup. He invites a string of friends and neighbors home. But as preparations get underway, there is a power cut and the house is plunged into darkness. Will Abi be able to put together the much-anticipated Tukpa? Told from a blind child's perspective, this tale is accompanied by Shilpa Ranade's stunning illustrations. The book also features cultural information about the Ladakh people of northern India and a recipe for the noodle soup described in the story. The second picture book we want to highlight is Jaden's Impossible Garden by Melina Mangal. In this book, 9-year-old Jaden loves the outdoors, but his mother is nervous about him playing in their neighborhood. With the help of his elderly, wheelchair-bound neighbor, Mr. Curtis, can Jaden help Mama see that nature and beauty are all around? The author includes bonus information at the end of the book about observing nature in a city, along with instructions for crafts made from empty coffee and milk containers. And Ken Daly's vibrant artwork makes the whole book come to life. Other excellent picture books with disability-related content include Rescue and Jessica by Jessica Kensky and Patrick Downs. This Beach is Loud by Samantha Cotterill. Ansi Ansel by Cindy Jensen Elliott. My Ocean is Blue by Darren LeBouf. The Mitten String by Jennifer Rosner. Hello, Goodbye Dog by Maria Gianferrari.
Found in our kids nonfiction section, I Am Not a Label, written by Carrie Burnell, an actress and author who was born with one hand, and beautifully illustrated by Lauren Baldo, features 34 iconic people who have experienced disabilities. Find out how artists, thinkers, athletes, and activists from past and present have overcome obstacles, owned their differences, and paved the way for others by making their bodies and minds work for them. Each person is a leading figure in their field, from artists like Henri Matisse and Frida Kahlo to scientists like Stephen Hawking and Temple Grandin, and musicians like Stevie Wonder and Lady Gaga. These short biographies tell the stories of these remarkable people whose challenges have not stopped them from becoming trailblazers, innovators, advocates, and makers. The kids' fiction title, Brave Like That, by Lindsay Stoddard, tells the story of Cyrus, a boy who was left at a fire station as a baby and adopted by his father, a firefighter and former football star who hopes Cyrus will carry on his legacy as an athlete. Cyrus hasn't found a way to tell his dad that he no longer wants to play football. He also hasn't figured out how to explain his struggles with reading. Cyrus's grandmother, who has lost the ability to speak after a stroke, helps him navigate his reading difficulties and foster a love for music. Then, 11 years to the day that Cyrus was left at the firehouse, a puppy is left in the exact same spot, and Cyrus immediately feels a connection. When Cyrus gets caught in a lie, it's time to come clean with his father about who he wants to be. Cyrus's journey towards self-acceptance will inspire readers of all ages. Other kids' books that explore disabilities of all kinds are the nonfiction story Her Own 2 Feet by Meredith Davis and Rebecca Uwitonze, and the fiction titles Get a Grip, Vivi Cohen by Sarah Caput, The Distance Between Me and the Cherry Tree by Paola Peretti, Show Me a Sign by Anne-Claire Lizotte, The Chance to Fly by Ali Stroker and Stacy Davidowitz, and The Kids of Whitney Junior High Take Over the World by Matthew Klickstein.
Now we have the teen selection of books to highlight individuals with disabilities. For this section, we have a variety of books such as fiction, nonfiction, comics, and manga. I would like to introduce A Silent Voice by Oyma Yoshitoki. Shoya is a bully. When Shoko, a girl who can't hear, enters his elementary school class, she becomes their favorite target. And Shoya and his friends goad each other into devising new tortures for her. But the children's cruelty goes too far. Shoko is forced to leave the school and Shoya ends up shouldering all the blame. 6 years later, the two meet again. Can Shoya make up for his past mistakes, or is it too late? Our second theme book is called Your Brain Needs a Hug. Life, Love, Mental Health, and Sandwiches by Ray Earl. Your Brain Needs a Hug is filled with her friendly advice, coping strategies, and laugh-out-loud moments to get you through the difficult days. Witty, honest, and enlightening, this is the perfect read for feeling happier and healthier and learning how to navigate life without feeling overwhelmed or isolated. Perhaps perfect for many teens in your lives. A few other teen book titles that we recommend are Maisie McMillan and the Rainbow Goddess by Sherry Green, Daredevil, No Fear by Zdarsky, Speak, including the graphic novel by Laurie House Anderson, Love Blind by C. Desir and Jolene Perry, But Now I See, My Journey from Blindness to Olympic Gold by Stephen Holcomb, Funny, You Don't Look Autistic, A Comedian's Guide to Life on the Spectrum by Michael McCreary. Be sure to check them out.
In our final section, we are going to highlight books for adult audiences. My adult fiction book is Summer Brother by Yep Robin. This book is about two brothers, Brian and Lucian. 13-year-old Brian lives with his divorced and uncaring father. Brian's older brother, Lucian, physically and mentally disabled, has been institutionalized for years. While Lucian's home is undergoing renovations, he is sent to live with his father and younger brother for the summer. Their detached father leaves Brian to care for Lucian's special needs. But how do you look after someone when you don't know what they need? The nonfiction book I am going to spotlight is Thinking Differently, an inspiring guide for parents of children with learning disabilities by David Fink. When parents are told their child has a learning disability, they need more information. Thinking Differently is just the resource to meet that need. David Fink explains each learning disability in layman's terms to prepare parents to speak knowledgeably with teachers about their child's specific challenges. Other adult titles that address disabilities of all types include The Lightkeeper's Daughters by Jean Penchwald, The Proposal at Siesta Key by Shelley Shepard Gray, Riddance by Shelley Jackson, Accessible America, A History of Disability and Design by Bess Williamson, The Pretty One on Life, Pop Culture, Disability, and Other Reasons to Fall in Love with Me by Kia Brown, Sharing Love Abundantly in Special Needs Families, The 5 Love Languages for Parents Raising Children with Disabilities by Gary D. Chapman.
If you are interested in learning more about the ADA, check out the adult nonfiction title, Enabling Acts, the hidden story of how the Americans with Disabilities Act gave the largest U.S. minority its rights by Leonard J. Davis. A great nonfiction picture book about the passing of the ADA is All the Way to the Top, How One Girl's Fight for Americans with Disabilities Changed Everything by Annette Bay Pimentel.
If you need help finding any item in our collection, please stop by any Gwinnett County Public Library branch where a staff member will be happy to assist you. See you at the library.